Mitski over the past few years has ended up developing one of those cult-like stan followings amongst the indie singer-songwriter crowd. She's kind of up there with your Phoebe Bridgers, that kind of audience where the dedicated fan base is so loud and supportive of the music that it's just ended up like catapulting her to greater heights. And I'd say it's been welcomed. I think her music's been pretty good. I would say that I've not been a big fan of her music. I thought her albums so far have been pretty solid, nothing too out of the ordinary, you know, stuff we've heard before. She's good at what she does, but I'm not quite on the hype train yet. And I certainly remain that way with Laurel Hell, with this one being a step down from her last album, Be the Cowboy. This for me is relatively tame and uninspired, to be honest, in a lot of ways. The immediate issue that stands out on the opening track, Valentine, Texas, is the vocals. They're just so timid. There's just not enough power coming through her voice, and she just ends up like fading a little bit into the background, and then the instrumental like glides over her voice, and it just makes her sound really soft. And I can see why someone would like that kind of delicacy, but I'm just kind of looking for a bit more oomph coming out of her voice. I just need a bit more of that emotional power to come with her voice too, and it just never really comes. I still feel similarly about Working for the Knife as well. I reacted to that one when it came out on this channel. There was lots to like, particularly how great the guitar sounds. I think that is really powerful on the song, but it just overshadows what she's doing vocally. They're just so lacking, man. She's so drony on the microphone on this track, and quite a few tracks as well, where you just need to be emoting more to kind of bring the songs to life, to bring the emotional power to life. And I just feel like a lot of what she says ends up falling on deaf ears, really, because there's just not enough coming out of her voice. The best way to describe it is hot air. Hot air is how my boy Ricky described it. Not to throw him under the bus, but that is the words he used. And when he used those words, I was like, yeah, hot air, emptiness, just lacking in anything. You can't get worse than Everyone, though. This track right here, man, is so dead. What is going on here? The vocals are just completely fading into nothingness. The plodding beat just sounds so cheap and tacky. And then the synths, man, the weak-ass synths. The weak-ass synths. Why would you ruin synths like that, bro? What are you doing? This track is just, oh, God, it's painful to sit through. This is really one of the dullest songs I think I've heard all year so far. And I know it's only February, but honestly, by the time we get to, like, October, November, I still think I'll be saying that. But she does show that she can bring the energy with tracks like The Only Heartbreaker. It's similar with, you know, the standard lyrical stuff that she sings about. She doesn't really stray away too much from her usual kind of lyrics, I don't think, greatly anyway. But at least what we get with this one is a really driving synth that reminds me of something straight out of the 80s. I feel like I'm entering the Gladiators arena on this track. It just drives me and gets me pumped up. A really good song, actually, and for as critical as I am of this album, and maybe generally with Mitski overall, although I do think she's pretty good, but maybe not, you know, maybe a lot of people that love her think I'm critical, but I actually think this is probably one of her best songs. I like her taking this approach. I would much prefer to hear more songs like this, actually. I think she's in her bag on this one. She emotes a bit more. She sounds like she's in command. She's in control of the song rather than the songs taking over her, which happens a lot on this album. She's in her bag. She's in her bag. Love Me More is more up-tempo as well. Basic lyrically, though, I mean, she has a very simplistic approach. When she writes songs, she doesn't really stray away from your standard kind of cliches, I don't think. But I'd at least take her doing these kinds of songs over bloody Everyone. Should have been me as well. You know, once again, kind of dabbling in that 80s sound. This sounds like a song from the Sing Street soundtrack, actually, which I think is a very good film, to be fair. Very good musical-esque film. You know, it's more up tempo, more rhythmic. I appreciate this kind of sound. Again, I think she's doing this pretty well. It's still very much indebted to an era that has obviously, you know, been done to death. I will say that. But I, again, appreciate her taking this approach. And I think this section of the album, to be honest, is way better than the tracks that we got at the beginning. I think there's actually a bit more power in her voice in the track There's Nothing Here Left For You as well. Not really my kind of cup of tea though, because I think when it kind of like crescendos, I kind of wanted that to be more of the focus of the song, but I feel like she focuses a bit more in the slower tempo thing. But again, at least I'm happier that her voice is sounding a bit on the powerful side on this one. You know, you don't necessarily have to be saying the most poetic shit every time when you write a song, you know. If you sell the shit out of it with your vocals, I'm usually pretty happy with that, and that's where Mitski loses me. I don't think she does that enough on these tracks, and that's really where my issue lies. That's Our Lamp finishes off the album. Love the title, That's Our Lamp, man. That just makes me laugh. But yeah, this track is okay. Kind of sounds like she's sampling Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, though, with the synths on this one. A bit cheesy in the way that they sound. But yeah, this one for me, just another kind of okay moment on the album. Because even the tracks that I'm saying are pretty good, they're nothing really all that special. And that's the thing with this album, man. It just never really hits a home run. You know what I mean? It just kind of like gets to first base. It's like, you know, a more British reference actually would be Rounders. You know, you hit it, it doesn't go too far. Someone picks the ball up straight away. You just got to get to the first base. You can't go any further than that, man. It's just okay. It's not really doing anything special. But I think there are people out there that connect to what Mitski does, even though the vocals don't do that for me. There are people out there that find something in her voice. So, you know, maybe my opinion here isn't really worth a great deal to someone that loves her music, and I respect it. I respect that you like her music, you get something out of it, and I think someone who really feels passionate about her music could probably convey that in a review better than I'm kind of doing here, because I'm just basically saying that nothing really connects with me ultimately, and that's just how music is sometimes. 5 out of 10. That's just how I feel. Try not to hate me too much. There's a couple of good tracks on here, but, you know, overall, I'm just not really feeling it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, as always. Sorry if the lighting isn't at its best at the moment. This isn't my most shining moment in terms of lighting in my videos. But, you know, we're getting to the later evenings. The sun's staying out longer. We'll get with it. As soon as March comes around, we're back. We're back. Thank you for watching my review as always. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have a good day and goodbye.